Hi, gang. Bill Sheridan with the Maryland Association of CPAs. Back again with another great CPA purpose story for you this week. Still looking for that elusive why, right, behind the work that CPAs do. And my guest this week is Tom Myers. Tom is an audit and assurance partner with GRF CPAs and Advisors. Interesting path Tom's taken to arrive at this point in his career. He earned a degree in criminal justice of all things, from the University of Maryland, spent the first 15 years of his career in retail security, then decided he needed a change. So he went back to school, earned his MBA at Loyola, became a CPA, and now he gets to do what's most meaningful to him. And that's helping his clients achieve their goals, giving them the information they need to make critical business decisions. And, there's not as big of a gap between audit and security as you might think. A few parallels there, especially when it comes to the investigative side of the job, which Tom particularly likes as well. I'm going to let him take it from here. Here's Tom Myers with his
So I'll be
CPA
honest,
story.
accounting was never on the radar, kind of growing up and even through undergrad. The plan was to get into law enforcement. So I kind of fell into retail security. I worked for Target stores for the majority of that 15 years in my previous life.
Mhm.
This is career 2 or 3, depending on how you count it. Uh, the law enforcement thing never took off. So, that was never the goal either, to work in retail. And, I did not enjoy working all the holidays and dealing with all the madness around that.
Yeah.
One too many Black Fridays in a Target store.
It
I get
can't be
checked for
fun.
retail. Yeah. Um, so I started going back for my MBA because I knew I wanted to do something different. And I kind of went in thinking like management information systems or something like that. Part of what I did when I was in retail was also inventory related. So we would do inventory recounts, at the store level. Also looked at, P&L of the stores and management meetings. And then obviously I did, fraud investigations and things like that. So a lot of exception reporting. When I got in the MBA program, I think I took a finance class first probably, and that kind of seemed to click and mesh with some of the things that I had done in retail that I enjoyed. Um, and I could kind of see a segue from, building on that, going from retail into finance or accounting, and ultimately became accounting once I started taking some accounting classes. Um, and then, I did about a year at a private company, staff accountant, after I graduated with my MBA. Figured out pretty quickly that there wasn't a whole lot of opportunity at a small company when you have a CFO and a controller that you're working for.
Right.
Not a lot of room for improvement or advancement. Um, so I left there, and my CFO there, who was a Loyola alum, that's how I got that job, said, go do public. You know, it's a great experience. Give you a good base.
Yeah.
Um, and that's what I did. So I worked at a previous firm for 20 years up until about 4 months ago, and
Okay.
then recently over to GRF.
Nice.
Yeah.
Um, at what point did you realize that you wanted to try to get your CPA?
I mean, I think going into public accounting, especially when I did, you had to.
Yeah.
You couldn't go beyond senior level without the CPA.
Got it.
And that was kind of the whole point of the accounting degree or concentration within the MBA program,
Yeah.
um, was to get the CPA.
Got
And
it.
I figured out pretty quickly I enjoyed the work I was doing, the audit work. For me, it was the variety, not being in the same place all the time, every day, seeing different people, hearing different stories about, how they got to where they are. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so the people I worked with within the firm and the audit group, and then also our clients, was a big draw.
Nice.
I could see that was where I was going. I made the right choice.
Well, this might dovetail a little bit into what you were just talking about there, but
Yeah.
what do you look at as kind of the purpose or the why behind your work? I mean, what do you accomplish by doing what you do?
I think I get the most fulfillment out of helping clients achieve their goals. Uh, you know, the story I always tell when people ask me this question, especially like I'm, recruiting or talking to students or people getting in the profession. I had a client, try to keep it short, but I had a client who had been a client of our firm, previous firm, for 30 years. Um, and I kind of came in at the end of her career when she was looking to sell and, built a relationship with her. She got to the point where she was selling, but she didn't want to tell her team that she was.
Hmm.
So she brought myself in and then one of our consultants in to kind of represent her in the sales process. So we kind of sat with her as her accounting department in front of potential buyers and their accountants and attorneys. And um, so that was just, you know, felt great to have that kind of trust from someone and to represent her when she's selling the business she's been working on for 30 years.
Yeah.
So that kind of encapsulates, I think, what I really get out of it and what I really enjoy.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great. Why this might be a two sides of the same coin here, but I
Uh-huh.
mean, why do you why do you think what you do is important?
Um, you know, you may find some clients that find it hard to believe that it's important. We get a mix, but most understand it. It's providing reliable information to people to make decisions, whether it be the owners of the company, the management of the company, obviously outside parties, bankers, investors, right? Um, without that, how could you really gauge the health of a company, whether to make an investment in it? So we kind of help distill that information and provide, that product, which is a financial statement,
Yep.
to those users. And our reputation as a profession carries weight with those users. So,
No doubt. No doubt. What do you love most about being a CPA? I mean, you can now compare this to at least one other career path that you were on. What about this kind of clicked with you and made you say, "Yep, this is where I want to go"? What do you like most about it?
yeah, I mean, so I think some of the carryover, like I was a CFE for certified fraud examiner for a while as well. Piggybacking from the criminal justice and security background. So I thought, there were parts of that kind of transition to the CPA profession, especially the audit side of it. Um, I've always liked the investigative side of things, whether it be the retail security and figuring out employee theft and fraud cases, or you know transitioning to the audit and kind of doing the same thing. It's a very similar process. And then I also dabbled a little bit in the CFE and forensic world. Ultimately ended up in audit. Um, so I enjoy that. I enjoy working with people. Hear all kinds, like I said, great stories from owners about how they got to where they are. Um, Really cool stuff, and some of the like intelligence community folks. Not too much because I don't want to know exactly what they know or everything they know, but like how they got there, why they got there. So those kind of things. Yeah, those are probably the main reasons.
That's great.
But,
Uh, of course, talent is a huge issue in the profession these days.
mhm.
What would you like young people to know about accounting? High school, college students, as they're trying to figure out where they want to go, what would you tell them about this profession?
There are a number of things. I mean, you get a great foundation and insight into to business as a whole. I'm biased. I've worked at, more regional local firms. And I think, the way I sell our firm is that you get that picture with us quicker. Like you see more of the entire picture. You get to meet the C-suite folks and hear those stories, how they got to where they are. So it gives you a really good foundation. And, even if you choose not to stay in public accounting, you can go into private. You can go into private and get to that C-suite level because it gives you that really strong base knowledge of how business works, how it operates. Um, And for me, like I enjoy the variety. It's not the same thing every day. It's not as much travel and getting the clients as it used to be, obviously since COVID.
Right.
And hopefully we get back to more of that, or find the balance that's correct. Um, so there's variety. There's, it's lucrative. I mean, to be honest, it pays well.
Yeah.
I think we need to talk more about what that looks like down the road.
Great stuff there from Tom Meyer. So glad he could take time out of his busy schedule to be with us today. We want to hear from you as well. So head on over to macpa.org/Y and share your story with us as we try to offer a little bit of inspiration to the next generation of accounting and finance folks. We want to hear what your CPA purpose is as well. In the meantime, thanks for being here. As always, we'll be back again next week. More stories to share then. Until then, have a great week, everyone. We'll talk to you again soon. Take care.